Our next question. Every school has a PTO or an HSA. Do you feel they are valuable, and how would you utilize them? Again, every school has a PTO or an HSA, some type of parent-teacher organization. Do you feel they are valuable, and how would you utilize them? We will start with Mr. Alcier.
Okay, my wife is in the audience, and she's the PTO Vice President at Boyertown Elementary, so I think I know how I better answer this. But honestly, yes, I do. I think they're valuable. Absolutely. I think they're a great conduit between parents, teachers, the school. Believe me, I'm very familiar with a lot of the work that she's done over the last 3, 4, 5 years, and it is truly invaluable. Not to mention the fundraising, so there's things that they can buy for the school to assist the teachers, assist the students, appreciation breakfasts and lunch for teachers, bus drivers. That's a great way to say thank you. And in today's world, a lot of times there's just not enough of that. So it's encouraging when people go out of their way to say thank you. We appreciate what you're doing. So absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Parsons.
Yes, I too have my wife in the crowd, and she's also very involved in the HSA. She was involved with Washington Elementary, and now currently my youngest daughter is attending Earl Elementary. The benefits are incredible. I mean, we need more volunteers in this community doing things like this. The more involved the community is, it will actually drive some of the expenses down that we have. We can all help, we can all chip in, even in small ways. I think it goes a long way. Helping out the teachers, and just it makes a big difference in the kids' education as well. I know I've gone into school many times, you can see the kids' faces light up. They like to see the parents involved. They like to know that we're behind them, and they like to know that we're willing to help. And I think we should just continue to grow those organizations as large as we possibly can.
Mrs. Hartford.
I guess having been a past member of the PTA for 8 years in Boyertown Elementary, that they are very important. They serve the teachers and the students and the parents, the grandparents. I think the board interaction with the PTA is sort of lacking. There isn't a lot of communication between board members and PTA. I know I have spoke to several PTA meetings to explain how the board operates, what a board member is, that we don't get paid any money, that kind of thing, just to educate the PTA on what your school board does. I guess the person who asked the question, I would like to know the suggestions they have for utilizing the PTAs, because the question was asked how, for us to answer how we would utilize you. And I guess I would like to know their suggestions on how best we can utilize, what that interaction means.
Mr. Nichols.
I think they're a very important part of the whole picture. And personally, I would like them to adopt me, some of them. You know, let's get together and you know, with the board members. And I love to attend your meetings and see what was going on, you know. And I think communication, like Barbara said, isn't there. And let's see what we can do to establish that. Because you are a great help, and we certainly do appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Crispin.
This is another one that's near and dear to my heart. As I said about partnerships earlier with the students and the parents, the parent organization was a great deal, had a lot to do with many of the activities. In fact, I know the HSA at Gilbertsville was the one that brought to Boyertown the smart board because I can actually remember the meeting where that was held, and the Gilbertsville HSA had put up the money, purchased the smart board, and now it's history. Today it's in all the schools. So they really contribute a great deal. I think I would definitely, you know, in speaking to Dr. Betts, who's the superintendent, as a former principal, would say you need to strongly encourage and share and talk and see how the administration in the buildings is working with the HSAs or the PTA, because they're the ones who are closest to that organization. And for that to be a good functioning organization in that building, there needs to be a very good relationship between that administrator and the HSA or the PTA there. I would also encourage whatever input they could give us here at this level too, but that I know is an important place where you can have an impact.
Mrs. Youssef.
I do think that PTAs, PTOs, PTCAs, HSAs, I think I got all the acronyms, are valuable. They bring so much to our schools and our students and our teachers that we might not otherwise be able to afford. Most importantly to me, my own personal experience was the sense of community that I found through the HSA when my kids were going through New Hanover Elementary School. And I live out in the far corner of the district, so until my kids really came to school and I started to meet people at school, it was hard to feel like a part of the community. So that was another thing. And when my kids graduated from New Hanover, Upper Frederick, I was so sad because I really saw a much more limited way to contribute to the schools, which might have led me here to the board, I'm not quite sure. But one thing that I'd like to see, and I know that those elementary school HSAs do have kind of a network where they try to meet with each other and share best practices. I would like to see parent groups formed at the junior high and the high school levels as well, because I think that's a great place where we can make a difference for our kids. And it's just something that I know has been tried, at least at the junior highs. It just doesn't seem to sustain itself year after year. So that's something I'd love to see get stronger.
Okay, because time keeps ticking, we will, at this point, we will not be accepting any more questions from the audience. And I'm going to throw a quick curve to Ed and Jane, our excellent timers. From now on, rather than a minute and a half, you will have 1 minute. 1 minute to respond to each question, because we want to try to get as many questions in, so we'll have some speed talking here. We'll still have, no, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Give her a 15-second deadline. Even though your card says this is a trick here. Even though the card says 30, when she holds it up, that means 15 seconds. Okay? The watch is the same. The watch does not change. Okay. Next question. What impact do you think music has on a student's achievement in the classroom? What value do you place on music? Again, excuse me, what impact do you think music has on a student's achievement in the classroom, and what value do you place on music? And we will start with Mr. Parsons.
I think it definitely does have a value. I think the music program here at Boyertown is one of the best in the country. I'm a musician myself. I have 2 children that are in the musical programs in the school district. I would definitely love to see these programs stay if we can afford to keep them, without a doubt. Music is important, not maybe in everybody's life, but a large majority of people in this community are involved in these programs and in music in some way. We definitely need to keep the programs around if we can do it.
Mrs. Hartford.
Both of my sons started violin, drums, when they were in 3rd grade. Both of them still played the instruments. They were in choir, concert choir, ensemble, everything. They went to a cat theater company in the summertime and sang. So both of them have great musical skills. I would not say that it's if we can afford to keep it, in my mind, you must keep it. You must have music in your schools.
Mr. Nichols.
I think all these programs round the child out. I think it's very important. Music is very important to me. I certainly do enjoy it, and the talent we have here, I don't want to see it go away. I support music. Thank you.
Mr. Christman.
I support music also. I just got done telling you earlier about my son who was given, I told you, like a vocal cord from Mr. Koshetsky. Music is important. There was a gentleman by the name of Howard Gardner who did a whole study on multiple intelligences. Music is one of them. We encourage, in fact, now as an adjunct professor working with student teachers, I ask them, are you going to incorporate any music, any songs, anything, because children remember. That's a way that they remember. All you got to do is, if you think your child's not doing well in school and you say, gosh, they're not learning this, listen to all the songs they have up here. That's what music does. Plus, we are doing an outstanding job in music, I know, in Boyertown, but it's not because we're number 1 or number 100 or whatever. It's because it's right for children. That's why.
Mrs. Usavich.
You don't have to look far to find the research that shows that music is directly related to student achievement. It does help with brain development, and there are so many studies to prove that out. It also teaches teamwork. This is an area where you're not on your own, you're part of a large group, and if you can't figure that out, then you're not doing well. And our kids really, really do well in this district in that regard. It encourages students to be involved in and be excited about school as a whole, and it helps them succeed after school. Admission to college is so hard these days, and it gives them an opportunity to show a certain passion for something. And I know so many kids who have used that in a way to help them get into school and help them get financial aid for school.
Mr. Alcier.
Even though I was never musically inclined growing up, and my kids are not involved in music, I certainly know enough and support 100% music in the schools. I think you have to have, in any school district, a diversity of learning. So you got reading, writing, and arithmetic, but you got music, arts, sports, various clubs. That's all part of it. That's all part of learning, growing up, and again, trying to be competitive in our world economy. And it adds value for those students. For many students, reading, writing, and arithmetic may not be their first love, but music is. And that sparks their interest in school. And that's what they're living for, and they're very good at it. And I would also state, if it was cut, which we all hope it isn't, I would absolutely work my hardest to bring it right back.
That's time.